Tonight we are going to be doing a flip through of the new Ravenloft book. This is the new Ravenloft book right here. I just got this last week Thursday, I think last week Thursday or so, you know, just through my local friendly neighborhood game shop. Very nice. So we're gonna be talking about this. We're literally gonna flip through most of the book. I'm not gonna read all of it. That'd be crazy to do in a stream, but we'll read through a bit of it. I'll give you my thoughts. It'll be a review, first impression sort of thing. I have read through bits and pieces of it. I like it. I think tonight's gonna be a fun night. Sometimes I review products and it's more of a disappointing night. Tonight I have very high expectations. I think this is what I've seen so far is pretty solid. So I'm very excited to be able to be a note of positivity in our space tonight. So yeah, we're gonna be looking at that. Oh, I don't shout out my website a whole lot. I probably should talk about my website a little bit more, because over on the dmlayer.com, I have a crap ton of free resources for people. Let me go over here real quick. Tons and tons of absolutely free resources that you guys can get and use in your games. Now, all of the stuff that we create on the Friday live streams get published over here. So we have a ton of crap over here that you guys can get for free and use in your great games. We also have a newsletter that you guys can sign up for, and you will get this stuff delivered directly to your inbox. And I have also started giving discount codes to people on the newsletter as well. So they can go over to the DM Lair store, where I have back issues of Lair magazine and other Dungeon Master resources, and they can get discounts on all of those products as well. So signing up for the newsletter is gonna get you special perks and benefits as well. And that's totally free to get on the newsletter. And you could also get the free resources, adventures, and all the other cool stuff that I publish on my website as well. So I'm gonna start talking more about this because it's totally free and people should know about it because it's really cool. And we're still doing over here. We're still doing our fundraising for Stack Up. Stack Up is a 501c3 military charity that does lots of awesome things for veterans, helping with mental health, suicide prevention, lots of cool stuff. My goal is to raise $5,000 for them this month, and we were almost there. We are at $3,897. We're so very close. So, and we have goals, we have milestones. So far, everyone who has donated or will donate is going to get 2 complimentary issues of Lair magazine. I'm gonna run a D&D one-shot game for the top 5 donors. If we reach $4,000, which we're very close to, everyone will get a PDF copy of Into the Fae when it's released. All donors, may be clear. And then if we have $5,000, I'm gonna run another one-shot game for the next 5 top donors as well. So if we hit those milestones, cool stuff happens, and folks who have donated get a little bit of something as my way of showing appreciation for you helping support Stack Up. It's wonderful charity that does amazing things for our veterans and active service members. So there you go. Boom. Coffee. Yeah, we're so close. Yeah, more one-shots. Yeah. Apparently people like playing D&D. I'm learning this. It's like, all right, I guess we're gonna do some D&D stuff. All right, you guys ready to start looking at the book? Have we talked about stuff? And we've eaten a sandwich, and I've talked about a whole bunch of stuff, and now we're gonna actually look at the book. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the cover. Let's go to the coffee cam. The cover. I love the cover. I think the cover is amazing. I love the dark theme to it. It's got the little purple stuff going on. It's just really cool. It's very cool. It's not like Tasha's cover, which absolutely sucked. You have a cool cover this time. And then this is the back of the cover. It's got like I don't know. It's got some cool little thing here, and then some ravens all around it. So, yep, it's pretty cool. I like the cover. Very pretty. And we'll go inside it. Oh yeah. Well, if you included your email information when you donated to Stack Up, I'll be able to contact you and get you your little perks and benefits. Otherwise, there's nothing I can do about it. All right, we're gonna turn off that thing so that we can see stuff a little bit better. There we go. So basically, in the book, yeah, it's what's got. Okay, let's take a look at the disclaimer. We want to look at the disclaimer. This is always very important. By the sole act of opening this book, oh, okay, that should be on the front cover. If that's like the thing that triggers it, you acknowledge your complicity in the domain-spanning conspiracy that denied me, 𝗦𝘂𝗰𝗵𝘁𝗲, Wizard King of Darkon, my rightful place as both author of and cover model for what would have been so much more than this doubtful collection of lies and slanders. Well, somebody got screwed. Fortunately, as I've recently found my immortality unburdened by the trivialities of rule, I have endless opportunity to pursue through vengeances for even the pettiest affronts. What? Oh, thorough vengeances for even the pettiest affronts. Okay, cool. Please prepare for my coming. I expect to be quartered in the utmost comfort while we personalize your redefinition of the word horror. Okay, I can quarter you. That's not a problem, dude. That'll be horrifying for you, I guarantee you. All right, so we have a threat. I'm assuming this guy, 𝗦𝘂𝗰𝗰𝗃, is one of the, what do we call it? The domain lords, the dark lords or something? Or one of the, what do they call these guys? I don't know. Dark Lord. I think he's probably one of the Dark Lords would be my guess. I don't know. You'll send a note to Luke and see if he notices? What? Wait, notice what? What did I miss? Okay. Contents. Table of contents. So, character creation. There are some different lineages included here. 3 different lineages. We're going to look at the 3 lineages that are included. There are some subclass options. There are some new background options. Domains of dread. So there are some guidelines on creating your own domains of dread, including, and it goes over different types of genres of horror, which is cool. We take a look at that. And then it has a big, massive section that goes over. Chapter 3 is the domains of Ravenloft. And the domains of Ravenloft is just tons and tons and tons of different domains of Ravenloft. It looks like about 120 pages is basically domains of Ravenloft. So it's essentially a campaign setting book, folks. Like the majority of this book is a campaign setting book of the different domains of Ravenloft, which I think is pretty cool. So we'll get into that. And then it has some notes on running horror adventures. That's chapter 4. And then it goes over new monsters in Ravenloft. Looks like it has about 30 pages or so of new monsters. So we'll be looking at that crap. And then it has an appendix. It has a 1-page appendix of a spirit board. I'm sure that'll be riveting. So we'll get to that too. Yeah. All right, so we're in the very beginning. Introduction to Ravenloft. Okay, it basically goes over different stuff here, and we talked about the chapters, horror in your game. This has got like an introduction type of thing. So this is somebody who's written a letter to Dr. Van Richten. Genres of horror. Foundations of fear. Focus on fun. Okay, thrills you control. So this is giving us some guidelines on horror in our game. Okay, that's great. Okay, then we have Secrets of Ravenloft. I'm gonna move my coffee mug. It's in the way. Put the mug up there. And 7 Secrets of Ravenloft. Ravenloft is not a world. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like a demi-plane. The dark powers control all. It's giving us an overview of different things. Domains imprison the Dark Lords. Each Dark Lord has his own domain. Those are the domains of dread. We'll get to a whole section on those. The mist encompasses all. Nowhere is safe. Horror. Heroes confront horrors. I mean, yeah, Ravenloft is a horror, a story or campaign setting or whatever. Only fear is certain. Okay, that's cool. I mean, this is good information to have and read. I'm just not going to go into depth on it right now. The Land of the Mists, we're going to get an overview on that stuff. Nightmare logic. I read this part right here. Part of the idea here is that things happen in Ravenloft that aren't really logical, that are inexplicable, and it's defined as nightmare logic. When the inexplicable, crazy, horrible things happened. Oh, geez. This book gives characters nightmares. Ravenloft is a setting designed to bring nightmares to life, for characters, not for players. While the Land of the Mist is rife with sinister plots and terrifying tales, they're meant to stay within the world of your game, not to prey upon the fears of players. Oh dear, oh dear. Dungeon Masters are loose cannons now. We're preying upon the fears of our players. Chapter 4 details ways to make sure you're crafting adventures that are spooky in ways your players will enjoy. I'm really interested in Chapter 4. Chapter 1 also provides guidance for players so they can work together to create horror experiences that are safe and fun for the entire group. It's like, in this horror experience, we all might die. Okay. Revisit these considerations and safety tools often until they're just... Why am I reading this? Until they're just as much a part of your game as character sheets and dice. Content warning. With this in mind, be aware that this book contains suggestions for adventures meant to be horrifying. While these plots are no more explicit than those you might find in any other Dungeons & Dragons product, yeah, because Dungeons & Dragons is a game about murder and killing and stuff. It's a combat game, yeah. Gruesome and gory things happen all the time. That's the game we signed up for. And the horror genre is in its all myriad forms is explored, from moody gothic horror and ghost stories to visceral body horror and mind-bending cosmic horror. Chapter 2 explores how to choose the horror themes that are right for your game, but read on at your discretion. It's got a content warning. How to not be a mean DM. Scare the PCs, not the players. Okay. That's cool art, little bagman. Treasure hunting bagman. That's cool. This is for the 10% of DMs who need the warning. Yeah, most people just have common sense and discretion and aren't like idiots. But for the 10% that don't understand that sort of thing, we give them disclaimers. This is like a cover your butt disclaimer of the book. The Dark Powers. Okay, it's going to talk about the Dark Powers. We don't know who the Dark Powers are, but they are in charge of Ravenloft. They're in charge of the Mists. They're the ones that suck in Dark Lords and make them prisoners and keep the whole thing running and whatnot. So it's going to give you some information about the dark powers that control Ravenloft and stuff, which is cool. Give you some background on that stuff. It talks about the different domains, and there's a whole section on domains. Each domain is finite. It is isolated. It holds a Dark Lord. It is a cage for that Dark Lord, and it has a theme to it. So when we get into all the different domains, they have themes to them, so it can kind of suit your style of play or something that you're looking for, which I think is pretty cool. I love that these are finite too. The domains are finite. They aren't just endless and ever. That works in the Dungeon Master's favor. It makes it easier for you to run a domain of dread. So if you have your players go into whatever domain it happens to be, I'm really only familiar with Barovia because I'm running Curse of Strahd right now. But if you have your players go into Barovia is finite. There's only so much stuff there, only so many places you can go. Those boundaries help you as a dungeon master to prepare to run that. There are they can't go beyond certain walls and stuff. So that actually, I like that idea of it. It helps dungeon masters in that way. Whereas if you're running in, say, Forgotten Realms, it's a big, huge, massive world and folks could go anywhere. And so that could be a little bit more intimidating for dungeon masters. Cultivating Hope. Ooh, here's a sidebar. Oh, it talks about the Dark Lords controlling reality. Okay. Okay, cool. Dark Lords are evil. Yes, the Dark Lords are evil. So that means they're evil. They have an alignment. All right, we established that they're evil. It's probably not going to be included in their stat blocks. Wait, does it give their stat blocks? It gave stat blocks for all the Dark Lords, didn't it? Oh, wow. That's something we're going to have to check. Does anybody know offhand? Did it give stat? It doesn't give stat blocks for the Dark Lords? Why did I buy this book? Like, are you kidding me? Come on, you guys. You're punking me, right? Tell me you're punking me. So I have a book on Ravenloft, and I have Dark Lords that are like villains. They could be the big bads of my campaign, and it doesn't have stat blocks. I could. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I guess that's the first thing I can gripe about a little bit. But let's keep going. It's like, you know, it's like, how about I create Into the Fae and don't give you a stat block for the boss at the end? I'm just gonna pull the stat block for the boss. It's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna give you the stat block. You're gonna have to figure that out on your own, Dungeon Master. What else do we have? Oh, there was some more information about Dark Lords. They're prisoners, they're tormented, they influence the domains, they vary in threat. Some aren't as powerful as others. And they're active. They don't realize they're Dark Lords. And they're immortal. All right, cool. Some information about adventures. Oh, character creation. Okay, we're at chapter 1. Now we are at chapter 1, character creation. Oh, for the Dark Lord, the Mummy Lord, they just tell you to use the Mummy Lord. I mean, that's fair. I would want to customize it though, you know? I would want to customize it. I don't personally mind having to craft my own stat blocks for a Dark Lord. I mean, that's a fun creative process for me as a dungeon master. But not all dungeon masters have like the experience or know-how to do that sort of thing. So, but if they have suggestions for what they could use instead, I guess that's helpful and they could just do that. So, okay, chapter 1, character creation. All right, so we have subclass options, lineages, haunted heroes. Okay. Ravenloft encourages you and your group to safely, oh jeez. Are we gonna, is this whole book gonna be about safety? It's Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not playing Candyland. Okay. Encourages you and your group to safely explore the thrill of all manner of ghost stories, mysteries, and other tales of terror. While chapter 4 guides DMs in how to craft atmospheric adventures, the spookiest scenarios will fall flat if you and the other players aren't prepared to engage with some degree of suspense. By the same token, the DM can't craft an enjoyably spooky experience if they're not aware of your interests in and thresholds for participating in fear-focused adventures. This section highlights elements common to frightening D&D games, features that you should be mindful of as a player that will help you create it. But all because of one question. Are you sure? Oh, you can't see it. Are you sure? Ooh, you've been invited to play a scary game. What does a horror adventure or campaign mean? Who's it supposed to be scary for? You, the player, or your character? Is it scary like a mystery cartoon or a slasher movie? What content makes it scary? What do you not want to see in a horror story? These are all legitimate questions and one you should have answers to before participating in a fear-focused D&D adventure. Horror as a genre covers broad swaths of material. I personally can't stand horror movies. Like horror movies where I'm literally seeing the horror movie and it looks actually realistic, freaks the crap out of me and I can't take it. But something where you're just using your imagination and it's storytelling, story-based, that has it's not a problem for me personally. But I mean, everybody's not me, I guess. Prepare to be scared. I'm not gonna be scared. I don't know how I would be scared as a player running a game, like a D&D game. Now, if I were running a video game where there are actually images before me, I've been scared playing video games. Halo, the first Halo, when you got to the end and you found out who the true enemy was, that freaked the crap out of me. Oh man. I've just never been scared playing a D&D game. It's not the same experience. I don't know if that makes sense. Reading books though. Yeah, I don't know. The Flood? Oh, is that what they were called? Oh yeah, dude, those are amazing. I was so freaked out. I'm not sure what they thought was so terrifying in this book. Vaspian, I don't think Vaspian, they're playing, so it's like a cover your butt strategy, okay? It's you know what I mean? That's really what it is. That's really what it is. It's like lawyers who just make sure that their company's not going to get sued or in trouble. You know what I mean? So they're just playing it safe. Snapragger, thank you for the Prime, dude. Appreciate that. Know your fears, evil inside. Focus on the game. Limit comedy. Be aware that comedy breaks tension. Nothing dispels an ominous atmosphere like jokes, be they in character or otherwise. Dude, I'm not gonna play a D&D game where we're not joking. Like, look at my Curse of Strahd game. We're laughing and joking about everything, dude. Is that ruining everybody's immersion? Are they all having a miserable time? I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm just not really trying to run a horror game and I'm just trying to have fun with my friends. Maybe I'm not doing it right, but consent is a priority. Adding to your own terror, enjoy the struggle. Lineages. Okay, let's get into some interesting stuff. So the first thing, they have three new lineages in here. Why are they're calling them lineages? What the heck? Oh, is this their new thing? They don't call them races anymore. They're calling them lineages. Is this what they've decided to do? Yeah, so instead of a race, you can... Okay, hold on a second. Lineage. You choose whether your character is a member of the human race or one of the game's fantastical races. Alternatively, you can choose one of the following lineages. Okay, cool. So it looks like they're at least in this book, they're transitioning from saying races to lineages. I think that's a very smart thing to do. Get away from the word races. You're going to avoid a lot of problems as a company. But I don't know if that's going to be consistent in future products or if it's just they're just doing it right here. But definitely they're calling it lineages now. Because you could call the how do you pronounce it? 𝗏𝗏? Is that how you're saying it? 𝗏𝗏? Playing Dungeons and Dragons wrong since high school. I know, I've been playing it wrong since high school. You need a semi-scripted environment to limit comedy at your table. Well, if you're gonna limit comedy too, you gotta tell your players to shut up half the time. It's like, no, stop making jokes. Hey, no, we don't make jokes at this table. We don't laugh and have fun. You have to go find other... 𝗏𝗏? Is it 𝗏𝗏? Okay, 𝗏𝗏. Really? That's an F? And I have 𝗏𝗏. Somebody says 𝗏𝗏. Well, it's not a PH there. There's no PH, so I don't know why it would be a fear. No fun allowed. 𝗏𝗏? Yeah. 𝗏𝗏 looks like close, probably pretty close. Gonna keep moving my coffee mug around this whole time. Essentially these are like a half vampire, basically. They have lineages with vampires, basically. One of the things though is they are continuing their theme of not telling you what the ability score increases are going to be, to help min-maxers and power gamers in their constant struggle against their dungeon masters. It's actually so you can basically, for any of these lineages, you can increase one score by 2 and increase a different score by 1, or you can increase 3 different scores by 1. So that's how all these lineages are going to work. 𝗏𝗏. Let's see. Origin, blah 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 blah. Let's look at the game mechanics. I mean, thematically, it's cool. You're basically a half vampire. Okay, that's cool. Let's look at the game mechanics though. Humanoid, you can be medium or small. Walking speed is 35. And then there's a little ancestral lineage. If you replace a race with this lineage, you can keep the following elements of that race. Skill proficiencies you gain from it, any climbing, flying, or swimming speed you gain from it. If you don't keep any of those elements, or you choose this lineage at character creation, you gain proficiency in 2 skills of your choice. Oh, okay, cool. Dark vision, that makes sense. You don't need to breathe. Oh, that is really, really useful. Not having to breathe, that's water is not a problem. Don't gotta worry about drowning. What else? Certain spells, gases and stuff probably don't affect you. So it's situational, but it's useful. Spider climb. Spider climb is amazingly useful. Holy crap. Very, very, very powerful. A vampiric bite. Piercing damage. While you are missing half or more of your hit points, you have advantage to attack with your bite. Okay, when you bite with it, you can empower yourself. You regain hit points equal to the piercing damage dealt by the bite. Or you gain a bonus to the next ability check or attack roll you make. Okay. And it counts as one of your attacks, right? You can empower yourself with this bite a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses after a finished long rest. Okay, I mean, that sounds cool. Doesn't seem too powerful. That's it. So that feels pretty good. I don't think there's anything about this that screams OP or anything without playing it first. Spider climb is going to be very, very useful. Very, 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 very useful repeatedly over and over and over and over again over the course of the entire campaign. Anytime there's an obstacle, you just spider climb your way around it, throw a rope or some other thing and help everybody along. So that is going to make exploration a lot easier for sure from the get-go. That would be my only comment about that, I guess. It's not quite as good as flying, but it's very close as far as the effect it has on the game. The spider climb is the go-to. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hexblood. Okay, basically a Hexblood is a half hag. In essence, it's not quite a hag, but it's half a hag. These are really cool. This artwork, by the way, too, is killer. I love this artwork. So very cool. And these Hexbloods have these horns that kind of form on their heads like crowns. They're permanently affixed to them. I thought the description of them was really, really cool. I thought this was thematically awesome. And let's look at some of the game mechanics. Fey, medium or small, 30 feet. They have the same ancestral lineage thing. They have dark vision. An eerie token. As a bonus action, you can harmlessly remove a lock of your hair, one of your nails, or one of your teeth. Oh, that's so cool. You're just like, pull your tooth out. This token is imbued with magic until you finish a long rest. While the token is imbued this way, you can take these actions. As an action, you can send a telepathic message to the creature holding or carrying the token. That's so cool. As long as you're within 10 miles of it. Okay, that's cool. Remote viewing. If you're within 10 miles of the token, you can enter a trance as an action. The trance lasts for 1 minute, but it ends early if you dismiss it. During this trance, you can see and hear from the token as if you were located where it is. While you are using your senses at the token's location, you are blinded and deafened in regard to your own local surroundings. Okay, I mean, that's really cool. Wow. You can take that and put it on like an enemy before the enemy goes into their hideout, and then use that to scry their entire hideout as they're walking around and everything. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then nobody will be able to explore because you'll know everything. That kind of ruins the game for some folks. So hopefully players don't do that too much. Hex magic. You can cast the disguise self and hex spells with this trait. Okay. And then it takes a long rest before they recharge. Okay, cool. Ooh. Hags can undertake a ritual to irreversibly transform a hexblood they created into a new hag. Then, of course, they become an NPC under the control of the Dungeon Master. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, that sounds fun. Reborn. Death isn't always the end. So the Reborn are people that have come back from the dead, basically. But it sounds like they're not... Some Reborn exhibit the scars of fatal ends, their ashen flesh or bloodless veins, making it clear that they've been touched by death. Other Reborn are marvels of magic or science, being stitched together from disparate beings or bearing mystical minds in manufactured bodies. So it could be a lot of different things. Whatever their origins, Reborn know a new life and seek experiences and answers all their own. Okay, they have some faded memories, some character traits, some origins. And it looks like they're giving you some kind of directions or suggestions as to which, if you're in certain domains of terror or dread, you know, how you might have come to be as well. Reborn traits: humanoid, medium or small, walking speed 30, ancestral lineage, deathless nature. Okay, let's take a look at this. You have escaped death, a fact represented by the following benefits. You have advantage on saving throws against disease and becoming poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage, so that's like a dwarf. You have advantage on death saving throws. Thematically, that makes sense. Mechanically, you pretty much can never die again, unless enemies confirm the kill, so to speak. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. So again, not having to breathe is a very, very, very useful mechanic. Situational, but very useful. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. You can finish a long rest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in an inactive, motionless state, during which you retain consciousness. So that's pretty much similar to what an elf can do. Knowledge from the past life. You temporarily remember glimpses of the past, perhaps faded memories from ages ago or a previous life. When you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can roll a d6 immediately after seeing the number on the d20 and add the number on the d6 to the check. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I mean, obviously, metagame there, but a useful feature, I suppose. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. It kind of seems underwhelming, honestly. Like, thematically, if I wanted to play this because of the theme, okay, cool. But I wouldn't choose this over something like a half-elf or a dwarf. The Hexblood seems cooler and more useful. And then the Dampier as well, especially with the spider climb. So it's cool thematically, but the mechanics seem a little underwhelming to me personally. Okay. No, Pickle! What are you doing? Me go to sleep. It's early. It's early, Pickle. I'm peer pressuring her. I'm peer pressuring them to stay. All right. Oh, don't mess my book up. Again, artwork. So very cool. Jeez, this is cool. Sinister forces lurk in the shadows, enticing the unwary with dark gifts. Wow. This artwork is killer. Oh my gosh. Who did the artwork? Like, I mean, who was the art director of art? They usually have a director of art or something. Writing, rules development, editing, graphic design, cover illustrations, interior illustrators. But who was the director of art? Come on. Come on. Art department. Art department. Art team manager, Richard Witters. Art department was Tristan Falcon. It doesn't, yeah. Anyway. Very cool. Very nice. Ooh, ooh. The following D&D books provided material and inspiration. Domains of Dread, 1987. Vampire of the Mists. Ravenloft, 1983 by Tracy and Laura Hickman. Ravenloft 2, The House on Griffin Hill, 1986 by the Hickmans. And Carnival, Islands of Terror, Ravenloft, Realm of Terror. Oh, cool. Curse of Strahd. Nice. All right. Back to here. Yes, exactly. It gives good reading suggestions. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So what is this? Okay, so we have dark gifts. Let me put this bad boy there again. The dark powers influence many who struggle within their clutches, tempting both the innocent and ambitious with whispered promises. These sinister bargains are rarely spoken, coming in dreams or mysterious visions, but their terms are always clear and their prices terrible. A character can select a dark gift from the dark gifts description section. This supernatural gift expresses both a mysterious power and insidious influence. Okay, so you get some power, but there's a drawback to it. Characters who don't have a dark gift might gain one in the course of their adventures. All right. Echoing Soul. Okay, so this is a dark gift. Okay, so now we have descriptions of dark gifts. An Echoing Soul. So what is this? Roll the nature of this dark gift. My soul is linked with that of a person elsewhere, perhaps another domain, world. So these are just characteristics. These aren't actually doing anything mechanically. It's just role-playing guidelines. You gain proficiency in 2 skills of your choice. Inherent tongue. You can speak, read, and write 1 additional language of your choice. Intrusive echoes. Immediately after you make an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, and roll a 1 on the d20, your soul's memories emerge and take over perceptions and experiences. You might see people around you as someone other than you are, or become disoriented by double. Roll on the intrusive echoes table to determine the effect of these vivid memories and perceptions. Once one of the effects occur, these intrusive echoes can't manifest again until you finish a short or long rest. You are charmed by a creature you can see for 1 minute or until the creature damages you. You are frightened by a creature you can see. You perceive another time or place around you until the end of your next turn. During this time, you are blinded to your actual surroundings. Memories and sensations overwhelm you. You are incapacitated until the start of your next turn. Okay, Gathered Whispers. You have something that haunts you too. Okay, so you have something that haunts you. What else? What else for this? Oh, jeez, are you kidding me? You learn the message cantrip if you don't already know it. Okay. Jeez. When you are hit by an attack roll, you can use your reaction to channel your haunting spirits, letting your voices howl through you. If the attacker isn't deafened, add your proficiency bonus to your AC against that attack. Good gravy. Wait a second. Oh, this must be a different one. Oh, this is a different one. I'm sorry. I thought this was all... Holy crap. I was about ready to crap myself. I thought all of that was part of the same dark gift. I was like, wow. They really went OP on us here, just giving characters unlimited power. But I think I was getting confused. Echoing Soul is one dark gift. Gathered Whispers is a different dark gift. I was so totally... I was about ready to lose it, man. Okay, so that's a little bit more reasonable. So you get some benefits, and then there's a little drawback. I'm not gonna go through all of these. We don't have time for that. Living Shadow, Mistwalker, Second Skin, Symbiotic Being, Touch of Death, Watchers. Oh, that's cool artwork. Oh, that's cool. Check that out. I like that. Okay, there we go. I'm not gonna read through them all, but I can tell you that the one that I did read, Echoing Soul, the benefits you get far outweigh by a long shot the chance of having the negative thing happen. So it definitely gives you way more power than the drawback. There's no doubt about that. I don't know if that's true for all of them. I'm not going to go through each one right now. But the first one for sure, I would take that any day of the week. I roll a 1 every so often. I have a little bit of a drawback, but during the entire course of the game, I benefit from a few different cool things there. So that definitely seemed like a very, very worthwhile trade-off. Okay, we have subclass options. The monsters in the back are crazy. We're going to get to the monsters. It's a little after 7. We should do our we do have a cat strike, right? I'm pretty sure we have a cat strike. Let's see. We're gonna do a cat strike here. Oh my gosh, we got a lot of redemptions. Wow. 7 days ago. When was that? I must have done that. I don't know if I did that one. I don't know if I did that one. Okay, cat strike. Here we go. Okay, cat strike. The drawbacks for some are worse than those of others without recompensation of the benefit. Oh, some of the drawbacks are much worse. Okay. Let's get to the cat cam here. They're totally swarming. They're swarming. Oh. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. I can hear him running down the stairs from up the hill. Wow. Yeah. Whoops. Some just fell. All right. I'll be back. Orange always goes to the box. Matt, you want a cat, dude? I have extra. I'll put this over here. We're going to look at the subclass options. It looks like we have... It's time to rename the cat box to Orange's box. It might be. He always goes in there. No, we're gonna get to the monster stat blocks toward the end. I'm just going through from the front to the back. We'll get to them though. We're gonna look at the subclass options now. It looks like we have a bard subclass, a warlock subclass. Is that it? Just two? That's it? There's just two of them. So it looks like we have two subclasses. We're gonna look at those. All right, let's get back to the book. So the first subclass is Bard College of Spirits. Info text. So you get, so you can reach out to spirits to guide you and others. You learn the guidance cantrip, which doesn't count against the number of bard cantrips you know. Okay. Okay. You employ tools that aid you in channeling spirits, be they historical figures or fictional archetypes. You can use the following objects as a spellcasting focus for your bard spells. Okay, that's great. Starting at 6th level, when you cast a bard spell that deals damage or restores hit points through the spiritual focus, roll a d6, and you gain a bonus to 1 damage or healing roll of the spell equal to the number rolled. Okay, that's useful. Tales from the Beyond. While you are holding your spiritual focus, you can use a bonus action to expend 1 of your bardic inspiration and roll on the spirit tales table over here, using your bardic inspiration die to determine the tale the spirits direct you to tell. Oh, interesting. You retain the tale in mind until you bestow the tale's effect, or if you finish a short or long rest. You can choose an action to choose 1 creature you can see within 30 feet of you to be the target of the tale's effect. Once you do so, you can't bestow the tale's effect again until you roll it again. You can retain only 1 of these tales in mind at a time, and rolling on it immediately ends. Okay. If the tale requires a saving throw, yep, got it. I'm just gonna read one of these. Tell the Runaway. The target can immediately use this reaction to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. When the target teleports, it can choose a number of creatures it can see within 30 feet of it, up to its charisma. Okay. So, and these are randomly determined by the Bardic Inspiration die. Is the Bardic Inspiration die a D12? Like, this table has 12 entries on it. I thought a Bardic Inspiration was a D6. Or does it get bigger? Does it get bigger as you level up? It must get bigger as you level up, right? Is that how it works? Can somebody confirm? Hi, Wolfpool. I know. 7, 8 are better than 1 through 6. 9 and 10 are better than... It goes up with the level. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So 12 is supposed to be really good. Then, if you're not going to be able to get access to it till later. You evoke an incomprehensible fable from an otherworldly being. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or take psychic damage equal to 3 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die and be stunned until the end of its next turn. So 3d12 damage, intelligence saving throw, and then it's stunned. That's not too bad. And you can do that as, well, it says it's an action. It takes an action to do that. So at higher levels, you use an action to deal 3d12 damage and stun somebody. And it takes up a Bardic Inspiration die, which you can usually expend as a bonus action to somebody else to give them... I'm failing to see why I would do that. The target regains hit points. This is number 11. The target regains hit points equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your charisma modifier, and you end the 1 condition. Now that's actually useful because instead of using a spell, you can just use a Bardic Inspiration die as an action. So that seems better. Okay. Spirit Session. You can conduct an hour-long ritual channeling spirits using your spiritual focus. But let's be clear here. Before you spend an hour actually using this feature, you're going to have to spend 2 hours in game arguing with the other players as to why you guys should take the time to let you cast this for 1 hour. In my experience, anytime somebody wants to do something that takes any amount of time, there's like 3 other players saying, no, we don't have time for that. We got to keep moving. We don't have time for that. Like even taking 10 minutes to cast detect magic is sometimes frowned upon. You know, short resting, it's like, oh, we don't have time for that, you know. So you first are going to have to argue with your players as to why they should stop and let you do this. It's just the way it works. I'm not impressed so far. It seems, I mean, I haven't finished it yet. I should probably finish it before I say something. At the end of the ritual, you temporarily learn 1 spell of your choice from any class. Really? A 1-hour ritual? The spell you choose must be level equal to the number of creatures that conducted the ritual or less. What? So you gotta have more people help you do the ritual? The spell must be, okay, it must be a level you can cast. It must be in the school of divination or necromancy. Divinations, don't divinate, aren't there like hardly any divination spells in the game? Is that the spell school that hardly exists? I think there's like a couple divinations. There's one spell school that like doesn't have hardly anything. Can I just do this ritual every day as part of waking up? But if it's only you, it says you got to choose, the spell you choose must be of a level equal to the number of creatures that conducted the ritual. So if you're the one doing it, it's a 1st level spell. That's it. The chosen spell counts as a bard spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of bard spells you know. Once you perform the ritual, you can't do so again. So it still expends spell slots. So all it does is allow you to learn the spell. I mean, okay, so if you had some sort of like challenge in the game that you needed to circumvent and you needed access to a spell, this could be very, very useful. So situationally, this could be very, very useful. How frequently is it actually going to come up and be used? I'm not sure about that, but it could be very cool. Hey guys, maybe we could take a short rest. I think the Warlock needs to regain spell slots. Yes, that's roll deception. The Warlock's like, what do you mean? Mystical connection. 14th level College of Spirit. Okay. Whenever you roll on the Spirit Tales table, you can re-roll the die twice. You can roll the die twice and choose which of the 2 effects you okay. So a little less randomness, more of you choosing. Okay. I don't know why I would play a bard of this subclass. Unless I wanted it for the theme. I wouldn't choose this. It's very, unless you want it because you just think the idea of it is cool, it's very underwhelming, in my opinion. I don't know why I would do it. Okay, now we have a Warlock, the Undead. You've made a pact with a deathless being, a creature that defies the cycle and life and death. What? A creature that defies the cycle of life and death. There's our first typo of the evening. It happens. It happens. It's not a criticism. It's really, really hard to publish something without a typo. It's really hard. Oh, if you've ever been on the backside of publishing and getting manuscripts and sending them through editors and making changes and tweaks and doing revisions based upon playtesting and stuff like that, it is so easy. It is so easy to have a typo or something slip in. So it's not at all a criticism, because I know what it's like. But I'm just saying, there's our first one that I've noticed. Forsaking its mortal shell so it might eternally pursue its unfathomable ambitions. For such beings, time and mortality are fleeting things, the concerns of those for whom grains of sand still rush through life's hourglass. Having once been mortal themselves, these ancient undead know firsthand the paths of ambition and the routes past the doors of death. They eagerly share this profane knowledge, along with other secrets, with those who work their will among the living. Okay, cool. So expanded spell list. Bane, false life, blindness, deafness is cool. Phantasmal force, phantom scene, speak with the dead, death ward, greater invisibility, one of the best spells in the game. Yay, greater invisibility. Anti shell, cloud kill. I swear, if you're a wizard, if you're a dungeon master who has a wizard as a character, like that's your enemy spellcaster or whatever. Greater invisibility is the bomb. It gives you survivability, and also it makes it so that your spells can't be counterspelled. It's so good. It's such a good spell. I'm gonna start casting it on all my spellcasters so they can actually cast spells. I am so tired of getting excited to play an enemy spellcaster, and then every spell I try to cast gets dispelled. It gets countered, not dispelled, it gets countered. It's like, I'm all excited to play an enemy spellcaster, and it's like counterspell, counterspell, counterspell. And I'm just like, well, I might as well not even try playing enemy spellcasters anymore. Let's just put big sacks of hit points in front of the players. At least they can attack and do something. Yeah, I'm not salty. Not salty at all. I'm just gonna stop having spellcasters and start having innate abilities that aren't spells and thus can't be counterspelled. Sorry, I'm going into rant mode a little bit here. Let's take a look at this subclass, shall we? I'm just gonna stop having spellcasters. They're gonna be warlocks with innate abilities and crap. You know, I'm sick of as a dungeon master not being able to play a spellcaster. Like, you know what I mean? I just get shafted every time I get excited about a spellcaster. I just get shafted. And the other thing is, it makes it less interesting for the players because nothing happens. Like, literally nothing is happening in the battle because I can't do anything interesting to make this battle more exciting for you because everything's getting counterspelled. And so all you can do is just hit on the minions who hit you back. And so here we get a really boring battle because I can't get a spell off to make things more interesting. So, yeah, not salty at all. Not at all. Well, but Goliath Cleric, when your wizard has an armor class of 21, can go up to 26 and stuff because they splashed little cleric, you know, they become very, very difficult to hurt. Or have two spellcasters, yes. Or it's have two spellcasters, exactly. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Now my players are like, yeah, we got our butts handed to us by the Ice Mage, dude. I don't think you could see him, or you didn't have counterspell at that time. You didn't have counterspell. Ban Kevin. Kevin, why? Kevin's not, he's the cantrip man. So why should I ban him? Wait, did Goliath Cleric say a bad word? Ooh. Did Kevin? Oh, Kevin said a bad word. Ooh, where's Penguin Butt? Penguin Butt? Penguin Butt is gonna be all over that. Oh man. Spellcasters hide behind trapdoors that only open when they want to cast. The players can't see them. Yeah. Or well, this is what they can do too. They can hide behind cover, cast the spell. They can ready the action, cast the spell. And then the trigger is when I see my enemies, and they come around cover, and then the spell goes off, and then they go back behind cover. So you could do that too. The only downside of that is you can't have a concentration spell going, which kind of sucks because you always have to ready an action and concentrate on your spell. So there are ways around it too, you know. Anyway, we're not talking about Ravenloft anymore, are we? Let's talk about Ravenloft, shall we? I just forgot what it was like to play in higher level games, and then I was reminded. Simpaticos is a hater. Simpaticos would, I'll love you. He says Penguin, but I'll love you more if you ban him. Oh man. Penguin Butt has a moral dilemma: ban or the simp loves, or follow the rules and don't give Kevin cookies. Yeah, don't give Kevin cookies. No cookies for him. Yeah. Okay. Form of Dread. This is your first level undead feature. As a bonus action, you transform for 1 minute. You gain the following benefits while transformed. You gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your warlock level. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a wisdom saving throw, and if your saving throw fails, the target is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Oh gosh. Whoa, that's pretty powerful. At first level. The frightened condition makes it so that you have disadvantage on all attack rolls while you can see the thing that's causing you to be frightened, the thing that you're frightened of. Oh my gosh. There's no limit to that? Hold on. Okay, it lasts for 1 minute. It lasts for 1 minute. You can transform a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. So it starts out at like 3, goes up. Yeah. You regain all uses at a long rest. This is powerful. It's a wisdom saving throw, and they're frightened of you. That is a powerful. You guys, I don't know. The frightened condition is perhaps is underappreciated or something. When I have had enemies that were frightened, they are essentially worthless. They can't do anything in the game. They're locked down and they suck. So that feature right there is not to be underestimated at level 1. Okay, that's very powerful. Wisdom saves. I feel like wisdom saves are usually not super high on a lot of enemies either. Yeah, this is very powerful level 1, guys. I feel like this is very strong. This is very strong. It definitely is 1,000 bajillion times better than our stupid bard. What did the bard get at level 1? Nothing. They had to wait to level 3. Oh, wait a second. How is the warlock getting this at level 1? Oh, because warlocks probably get this stuff at level 1. Bards don't get it until level 3. That's probably the way it works. Okay, anyway. God, good gravy. Yeah, I can see why your players took this already. It's already looking very, very nice. Grave touched. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. Okay. In addition, once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll and roll damage against the creature, you can replace the damage type with necrotic damage. While you are using your form of dread, you can roll 1 additional damage die when determining the necrotic damage the target takes. Wow. That's really good. It has to be an attack roll. So that could be your Eldritch Blast then. You could deal necrotic damage with your Eldritch Blast if you wanted to. And then you get extra damage, 1 additional damage die. Oh, wow. Ooh, so you get an extra D12 on your Eldritch Blast, basically. On one of them, It wouldn't apply to all of them. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Necrotic Husk. Your connection to undeath and necrotic energy now saturates your body. You have resistance to necrotic damage. If you are transformed using your form of dread, you instead become immune to necrotic damage. Okay, cool. In addition, when you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you can use reaction to drop to 1 hit point instead and cause your body to erupt with deathly energy. Each creature of your choice that is within 30 feet of you takes necrotic damage equal to this. Okay, that's great. You then gain 1 level of exhaustion. Oh, cool. Finally, some drawbacks. I like that. Once you use this reaction, you can't do it again until you finish 1d4 long rests. Wow. Jeez. That's a limit. Dang. We gotta keep track of that. And then the player has to keep track of that. That's the type of thing you're gonna forget. I don't know how long it's been. Does anybody remember? Dude, it's been like 5 months. We have no idea. It's cool. This is like the problem with like a potion of poison, you know? Like the potion of poison, when your players get the potion of poison, they're supposed to believe that it's a potion of healing. It's a normal potion of healing. They identify it, it's a potion of healing. And so you just tell them it's a potion of healing. But how in the world are you ever going to remember that it's actually a potion of poison when they go to actually drink it? You're not gonna remember. You're gonna totally forget, and it's gonna be done and over. That's like the conundrum. It's like some of these things are like interesting as a mechanic, but implementing them at the game table is very challenging. Like, how do I? That's a cool idea. I like it. Cool. Let's roll. But how do I implement that at the game table? Potion of Poison is a classic example of that. All right. It's the 3rd potion on my belt. All right, Spirit Protection. Your spirit can become untethered from your physical form. As an action, you can project your spirit from your body. The body you leave behind is unconscious and in the state of suspended animation. Your spirit resembles your mortal form in almost every way, replicating your game statistics but not your possessions. Any damage or other effects that apply to your spirit or physical body affects the other, okay? Your spirit can remain outside your body for up to 1 hour or until your concentration is broken. When your projection ends, your spirit returns to your body or your physical body teleports to your spirit space. While projecting your spirit, you gain the following. Resistance to all damage. You have a flying speed. How far can you move away from yourself? It lasts for what, 1 hour? Oh my gosh. And you're ethereal, right? You're probably ethereal. You can move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but you take if you end it there. Okay. You know, this is the reason I don't like features like this. Let me explain to you why I don't like things like this. The way a player is probably going to use this is to scout out and explore the entire enemy base or the stronghold, the castle, the dungeon. They're going to explore the entire dungeon or something. They could like cast invisibility or something and then project this. I don't know, but they could use this to explore the entire dungeon basically. And the reason I don't like that is that it ruins the fun of exploration for all the other players. They're in the sense that in 15 minutes of gameplay, you're going to know everything that's in the dungeon and you're going to know where to go and all this kind of stuff. There are lots of players who love exploration and they love the mystery of not knowing what's behind the door and finding the cool stuff and being surprised by the enemies they run into. And when you have somebody just scout out the entire dungeon ahead of time, it ruins that whole aspect of the game for some of the players, you know? So it has less to do with it being powerful, in my opinion, and it has more to do with it ruining an element of the game, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's a removal of movement restrictions. Exactly. So doors and stuff like that don't matter anymore. So a lot of the things that there are reason you have doors in dungeons. All right, it's to help reinforce exploration and different things like that, you know. So I personally don't like those sorts of mechanics in the game because it ruins the game for folks. And you also have a very boring 15 minutes to a half an hour as one player goes from room to room and the dungeon master describes everything that's in the room. And you just go to the next room, describe everything. Go to the next room, describe everything. Go to the next room, describe everything. And one player is doing the whole thing. After a half an hour, you've described the whole dungeon out, and then they go back and then they decide what they're going to do, you know? And then they're not going to retain the memory of everything that's in each room. So as they go into the rooms again, you're going to have to talk. They're going to ask, well, remind us what was in this room again. And then you're going to have to say it over again. It doesn't play out very elegantly, I guess, at the game table. It's one of those things that's just kind of clunky and doesn't make for good gameplay, in my opinion. I've had that happen before, and that's exactly what happens. You know, it's not fun, in my opinion. But I don't know. I'm probably in a minority here. Oh, if somebody has a potion of poison, you just make a die roll every time they drink one to determine if they got the potion of poison or not. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you could do that, but obviously the dungeon master has to remember that they have a potion of poison. And the dungeon master has lots and lots of things to remember. And so that's what makes that hard too. You know what I mean? With that whole mechanic. My players wouldn't do that because he likes the exploration and doesn't want to ruin it. Plus, he's always afraid of breaking the game for other players. I mean, that's good. If you have players that understand that and then they're going to willingly take on those limitations because they know it would make for an unenjoyable game, then that's awesome. It's blessed to have players that recognize that and restrain themselves so that the game can be fun for everyone, you know? All right. I mean, this is honestly some of the best stuff comes at level 1. This makes, if there weren't already enough reason to splash Warlock, we now have another reason. Being able to force a wisdom saving throw every time you attack. Okay. Like every time you're using this, and you're going to be able to use this in most of the major fights in an adventure. Like, this is huge. You get a big swath of power at level 1. So you now have even more reason to splash Warlock into your builds. Yep, there you go. So splash Warlock and splash the Warlock, the Undead, because this is super powerful at first level. There you go. You have it. Oh, no one is splashing that instead of Hexblade? What does Hexblade give you, Simpaticos? Oh, the magical sword, basically, and that it returns to you and you can't lose it and stuff? Is that what it pretty much gives you? Imagine using one of these guys as a villain? Oh, Ed, yes! Except that you're gonna get to use the guy as a villain during one combat in the game, whereas the player gets to use this guy during the whole game. So it's, I get what you're saying, but it's kind of like, you know, it's not balanced still. The perfect lieutenant for Strahd? Ooh. Oh, you'll be terrified all the time. You won't, oh man, dude, if you had a villain who were doing this, everybody is frightened, and they have disadvantage on attack rolls and they can't go any closer. Dude, you shut down the entire party. They're screwed, man. If you had a villain that were doing that. Oh man, that's crazy. Oh, that's true, because it's an undead and he keeps coming back. We kill it, but he keeps coming back. That's a great point. No, it says they can do it. They can do it a number of times equal to their proficiency bonus, which is 2 to 3 times, 4 times, depending on their level. Yeah. Yeah, but the argument of if the player can do it, the NPCs can do it is a valid argument. But is every single NPC that you have in the game going to have this ability? No, only a few are. You know what I mean? So it's not. It doesn't totally hold water in that sense. Okay, let's see. Backgrounds. We are gonna kind of blaze through the backgrounds. There are a variety of backgrounds: an inheritor, a mist wanderer, a spirit medium, trauma survivor, and a traveler. And we have personality traits and stuff, bonds and flaws. I actually like these. I haven't read these ones here, but I like new personality traits, bonds, flaws, and stuff. So it's really cool to have these. And a lot of times what I do for my characters that I roll when I'm a player, now it doesn't happen very often. I get bored so easily. You guys have no idea. There are very few. Ed, your game that you ran for me is one of the few games where I was actually engaged and not bored. Like, it's so hard for me to be engaged when I'm a player. I just get bored and I'm falling asleep and I can't pay attention. When I'm a dungeon master, it's so much fun, but can't. So anyway, I'm not a player very often. I don't know if Maddie thing is here. Your game was pretty cool too. You ran that game for us like 2 or 3 years ago. That was really cool. I like that. But there's some games I'm in where I just can't. I can't do it. Can't be a player. I'm not a player. So we got horror character, haunted one. What is this? What is that? What is this? A haunted one. Is this a background? What is this? Oh yeah, these are backgrounds. Oh, okay, these are backgrounds. All right, we have backgrounds. So haunted one, investigator. What did I get screwed up over here? The haunted one is not listed in the beginning here. This is so. Oh, these aren't backgrounds. These are something else. These are like general background features or something. I don't know. The actual backgrounds are haunted one, investigator, Oh, it's just a couple. Okay, whatever. I don't know. I might be confused. Horror trinkets. These are cool. I looked this table over a little bit. I thought these were really, really cool. All right. We are way behind schedule. We are way behind schedule. I wanted to, by an hour in, I wanted to have already been through chapter 2, and we're taking way longer than I thought we were going to. Deceiver's like as usual. Here we go. Types of horror in a minute. Yes, now let's get to the actual DM stuff. Yeah, that's a very good point, Dan. We've spent the whole time now just talking about player options. And most folks who watch my stuff are dungeon masters. A multi-stream review? No, I'm not gonna do that. That'd be crazy. Part 2 on Friday. This artwork's okay. This doesn't really impress me a whole lot. It's cool, it's not bad, but the other one, some of the other ones I showed before were way better. Okay, so there's a whole chapter about creating your own domains of dread. And I glanced over a little bit of this before, and I thought it was pretty cool. It gives you information about creating your own Dark Lord that you can have. And it gives you information about creating your own domain, different themes and things that you should consider when you're creating it, questions to ask and stuff. Talks about monsters, misty borders, and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to do this pretty quickly, but it's good information. It'll be helpful for you to create your own domains if you want to. And then it's going to talk about the different types of horror. So there were about like 8 different types of horror or something, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here. But it's going to give you, depending on the type of horror you want to run, it gives you an overview of the different types of horror and how to run that sort of horror adventure, if that's the way to say that. There's body horror, where like your own body is the thing that is horrific. You're mutating or something's changing about you or something. It gives you suggestions for body horror monsters, suggestions for body horror villains, body horror torments, suggested things about the setting that you might do, adventure site suggestions for running a body horror campaign, suggested body horror plots. I generally like these sorts of tables. By the way, this is very reminiscent of what Eberron did in giving you suggestions of different things you could consider when you're designing your campaign. And I think this stuff is very, very useful. Even if you don't pick one of these things, it helps spark your own creativity and get the juices flowing for you to help decide what you want to run your campaign about. And it's literally just going to have a spread on each type of horror, and it's going to go over the same thing. Here we have cosmic horror. This is probably more on like the Call of Cthulhu end of things, would be my guess, what cosmic horror would be. And dark fantasy. Is dark fantasy kind of like Strahd? No, he would be gothic horror. Strahd would probably be like gothic horror or something. Supernatural elements and horror themes might be considered dark fantasy. Dark fantasy refers to fantasy worlds where grim themes, nihilistic plots, or terrifying elements inform a fantasy tale. That seems very vague still. Anyway, if you want to run dark fantasy, folk horror adventures involve traditions, beliefs, and perceptions that are passed down through generations and take terrifying twists. For those who ascribe to hidden traditions, sacrifices to strange gods, or placations to lurking monsters are everyday events. For outsiders, though these practices reveal the subjectivity of normalcy, societal truth, and taboos. All right, bunch of cool stuff about folk horror. If you want to run a folk horror, ghost story. All right, there we go. Ghost story horror, and it's got the same stuff. It's got suggested monsters, villains, torments, different setting ideas, adventure sites, and then plots. So it gives you the same tables, the same sorts of ideas to help inspire you. Gothic horror, this would be the Curse of Strahd. This is probably where Strahd is for sure. And it's got the same stuff in it as the other one did. And then there are different types. Now it stops giving quite as many tables and suggestions and just gives you an overview of some of these things. Disaster horror, occult detective stories, psychological horror, slasher horror. And there we go. Chapter 2, creating a horror campaign in 1 minute. How was that, Dan? Did we do okay? I'm sure Dan is gonna think we did okay. Dan is always very positive and supportive. Now this looks a little cooler. This artwork right here. This is one of the Dark Lords. It's Dr. 𝗦𝘁𝗰𝗵𝘁𝗄, Dark Lord of 𝗬𝗏, crafts the perfect body for her newest band of golem hunting mercenaries. This is pretty cool. She's like crafting the body, and then in these tanks you can see the heads of people who are terrified because they're about to be put on that body. That's pretty cool. Can you put all of chapter 2 in a TikTok video? Yeah, I would. Yeah, this is my TikTok video. Here's my TikTok video for chapter 2. I would just be like, there you go. That's your TikTok video. That pretty much encompasses TikTok, right? All right. You can tell I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok. Well, then clip it. Clip it. That's my TikTok video right there. All right. Now chapter 3 is going to talk about the domains of Ravenloft. This is the biggest, chunkiest chapter of them all. It literally marches through, I don't know, 15 or 20 separate domains of Ravenloft. And each domain is its own finite little area with its own borders and stuff that you really can't leave unless the Dark Lords allow you to, or the Dark Powers allow you to. D&D TikTok is the best. All right, it talks about the myths, which are a pervasive theme in Ravenloft and the different demi-planes. It talks about some different characteristics of things: mysterious magic, prison of souls, soulless shells. This is a thing in Barovia for sure. Death in Ravenloft. Jeez. Yep. If you die in Ravenloft, you don't actually die. You're like trapped there too. And then I think you get reborn. That's how it happens in Barovia. You just get reborn. Yep. So that's a pervasive element throughout all of Ravenloft, all of the domains of dread. It sounds like. Planar connections. Each domain is its own demiplane. Yep. Isolated from all other planes, including the material plane. No spell, not even wish, allows escape from the domains of dread. You pretty much magic. Nothing gets you out. There are certain things that can get you out. Like I know in Barovia, there's a way to get out. And it talks about things like currency, religion, times and dates, featured, and then featured. So it's giving you information for your campaign. How to set your campaign up. All right, featured domains. Oh, facing Dark Lords. Each Dark Lord in this chapter has a stat block from the Monster Manual or Chapter 5 that you can use or customize to suit your adventures. Though you might be tempted to make a Dark Lord an overwhelming threat, doing so risks distancing a rich, versatile villain from the characters. A very powerful villain could still be a rich, versatile villain, I might add. A Dark Lord is often far from the most physically daunting creature in the domain, but their nature as a Dark Lord makes permanently defeating them challenging. To defeat a Dark Lord, the character should focus on undermining the Dark Lord's plots and striking at the core of the Dark Lord's torments to make them vulnerable. A climatic encounter with the Dark Lord should happen when and how it's right for your adventures. After all, dread isn't a factor of challenge rating or character level, but of the suspense your adventures create. Okay. All right, and now it's going to start going over domains of dread. So it hits 𝗏𝗏 first, which makes sense. That's the one that probably most folks are most familiar with. This is where Strahd lives, of course. It gives us a map. That's useful. I would definitely want a map of a domain of dread. Noteworthy features, settlements and sites. Talks about Castle. So it talks about some of the major settlements and stuff. Castle Ravenloft, Kresk, 𝗏𝗏, the village of 𝗏𝗏. Talks about Amber Temple. Talks about Strahd, who is the Dark Lord there. It's got the backstory of Strahd. Talks about his powers and domain. His torment. Each Dark Lord has a torment. Some suggestions for role-playing him. All right, adventures in 𝗏𝗏. So we have a way to get there, it looks like. And then Titania is a key feature and figure in 𝗏𝗏. So it gives some information about her incarnations, connection to Strahd, hunting Strahd, lost Titania. So you basically have, and that's it. That's it. And then it's going to go into a different domain of dread here. So they give you an overview. You get an overview of 𝗏𝗏, its key features and things, and then some information about some of the key characters, Strahd and Titania, for you to run your adventures there. So it's not like you're not getting an in-depth campaign setting. You're getting an overview that's just enough for you to create more details on your own. I mean, I like it. For me as a dungeon master, this probably gives me like the basics that I need to start making out details on my own, you know. If you wanted the whole scoop of 𝗏𝗏, you would have to buy the Curse of Strahd campaign book or the Curse of Strahd module. But I like it. I think it gives you enough information. It's not super in depth. It's not like Eberron that goes like crazy in depth, you know. But you're gonna get 20 different domains of terror. Oh, here we go. Joe, thank you for the $5 tip. I've been told I'm too old for TikTok. Yeah, me too, dude. Mr. Gore, thank you for the $5. Cast Choking Grasp and deals 1d8 lightning damage. Thank you. Well, I'm now half dead too. You guys have, I'm half dead. I agree, 𝗥𝗏𝗃. Like I can flesh out the details of those towns and all of the different things. And in all honesty, there's freedom in creating your own details. Sometimes if you're given too many details, it becomes more challenging to use all of them than it is if you're given a framework and then you create your own details as a dungeon master. The details that I create on my own, I'm gonna remember better. They're gonna be more personalized. I'm probably gonna enjoy them better. So I don't have a problem with creating more details. All right, we're not gonna look at all of these. Let's just look at a couple more. I don't know, which ones do you guys wanna look at? I'm gonna see what you guys wanna look at. This is a list of all the domains of dread. 𝗏𝗏, 𝗏𝗏, Borka, the Carnival, Darkon, 𝗏𝗏𝗏. There's a crap ton of them. There's about 20 of them, 15 to 20 of them. Are there any Dark Lords that you guys are interested in that you want to see? If only Skag had been constructed like this. Oh yeah, they could have done, dude, you could have done the whole campaign setting of Forgotten Realms in a similar way. You know, each little area would be fleshed out a little tiny bit to give you an overview, and then you could have the whole Forgotten Realms campaign setting. Yeah. Okay, so the Carnival. All right, let's take a look at the Carnival one. Page 84. Let's look at that one. Ooh, this is so cool. Again, this artwork, right? I don't know what it is. The half-page artwork has been way more impressive to me than the full-page artwork. I mean, I'm sure they have different artists doing it, but the full-page artwork is just kind of like, I mean, it's good, it's well done, but it doesn't like impress me. It doesn't like create that atmosphere. Whereas this right here is creepy. This is creepy. There's just something about it. It's really cool. All right, the Carnival. So this genre is body horror and dark fantasy. Hallmarks: entertainment, fey bargains, misfits, and wandering exiles. Yeah, I think I glanced at the Carnival like yesterday or the day before, and it seems, if I remember correctly, it had a lot to do with the fey and trickery and stuff like that. Resplendent with bright banners, calliope music, and the smells of rich food, the Carnival promises visitors a surreal wonderland where any dream is possible. Garish flyers appear before the Carnival's arrival, promising marvels, terrors, and a brief escape from the gloom of daily life. But nothing in the land of the mists is beyond suspicion, and the wise know strangers are intrinsically dangerous. The Carnival doesn't exist to entertain its visitors. Rather, it's a traveling domain capable of visiting other domains and lands beyond the mists. Oh, dude. Oh, you could just plop this in your own ongoing game then as the Carnival arrives and have a little, like, couple side adventures or something to do with the Carnival. Oh, that's really cool. Visibly marked as outsiders by birth, circumstance, intention, or talent, the Carnival's troopers trade their unique performances for coin and whatever else they need to survive. Although these entertainers are well-intentioned, sinister forces travel in their wake. The longer the Carnival tarries in one place, the greater the threat to the performers and visitors. So the Carnival travels constantly, lest the troopers endanger the lands they visit. This sounds cool. Okay, settlements and sites. This small domain encompasses only a few hundred square yards, so it is very small. A handful of horses and exotic pack animals transport the Carnival's 24 wagons from site to site. One of the Carnival's oldest performers, 𝗏𝗏 the Half-Giant, handles the Carnival's day-to-day operations. 𝗏𝗏 is a mountain of muscle, half again as tall as most human adults. His deliberate manner of cool-headed demeanor earned him the respect of the Carnival's troopers. Okay, cool. You have the big top, sideshows, and then it has a list of sideshows. 𝗦𝘂𝗍 the Vampire. 𝗦𝘂𝗍, a scout with a flying speed of 30 feet, is a cheery acrobat aided in her performances by a pair of leathery wings that allows her to fly. All right, so we have a bunch of little sides. So we have NPCs basically that are part of the Carnival. Hall of Horrors. So this is like one of the attractions or something at the Carnival, I take it. A severe, bespectacled academic, Professor 𝗏𝗏𝗯, runs the Carnival's Hall of Horrors. This sizable, sinister tent contains a maze of taxidermic creatures, cabinets of curiosity. Okay, sounds cool. Litwick Market. The Carnival doesn't travel alone. Wherever it goes, fake creatures chase after it, appearing on the Carnival's outskirts as various merchants selling dangerous enigmas and missed talismans. They peddle lost memories or love potions for peculiar prices, such as the buyer's dreams or ability to speak vowels. Gradually, more dangerous fae arrive, creatures who delight in sabotaging performances or nearby settlements. These tricks and accidents grow increasingly dangerous, potentially culminating in disasters for which the Carnival's troopers ultimately take the blame. All these fae hold a grudge against the Carnival. They light their stalls with eerie colored lanterns and call themselves the Litwick Market. Interesting. Isolde is the Carnival's leader. Okay. Uses the Cambion stat block. And it gives you a bunch of information about Isolde, so she must be our Dark Lord. I'm assuming that Isolde is our Dark Lord. Oh, but then it has whatever, I don't know how to say that word. Nepenthe? Oh, the Holy Avenger. Oh, she has a Holy Avenger. Oh, okay. That's the name of her sword then. That's cool artwork, by the way. That's really cool. I love that artwork. This is very cool. Bunch of background information. I'm not going to read it all. The Carnival travels through the mists and between other domains of dread as 𝗦𝘁 pleases, though the dark powers occasionally send it off course. The Carnival provides one of the few means of escaping from another Dark Lord's domain, since it ignores the closed borders of other domains. Oh, this is cool. Other Dark Lords cannot travel with the Carnival to escape their own domains, however. That's pretty cool. So yeah, 𝗦𝘁 is definitely the Dark Lord here. The Carnival, okay, 𝗦𝘁 is both protector and prisoner of the Carnival. The following truths endlessly weigh upon her. The Carnival constantly grows, bringing additional souls dependent on 𝗦𝘁's guardianship. She's tortured by her obligation toward the Carnival's troopers and her vow to avenge her murdered companions. 𝗦𝘁 obsessively plots the perfect confrontation with her immortal quarry, the Caller. But the small concerns of the Carnival nag at her ceaselessly. So she sounds like she's a good person then. But the small concerns of the Carnival nag at her ceaselessly, exasperated by the Fey interlopers drawn to her presence. Her burdens drive her to seek seclusion to keep her legendary temper in check. Huh. And personality traits. And then it has some adventures in the Carnival, some suggestions for adventures. Oh, that's it. Oh, that was a short one. And, well, there wasn't a map, but it's a Carnival, so you wouldn't necessarily expect a map. It seems like the sword in this case is more of a let's throw this in than a fully fleshed out Dark Lord itself. Oh, the sword itself. Okay, that sounds cool though. I like that. I like the fact that you could use that Carnival and kind of put it anywhere in your game that you wanted to. All right, let's do our cat strike. How's that sound? Get up, stretch, get some coffee. I think I'm out. I'm almost out. We have a cat trip. Oh yeah, we're doing a cat trip. All right, Ambers. Redeemed a cat trip. Sweet. Squeaky. I have a cat. He's under my feet. He's gotta like sleep right under my feet. Oh yeah, you foreshadow its appearance. Posters show up a week before the Carnival arrives. Yeah, it can be very cool. Be very cool. All right, here. Oh, let's get the right camera. Let's get the right camera. And we'll get the happy carrot. Squeaky's gonna roll around a little bit tonight. All right, I will be back. Oh. Penguin butt. Bye. Yeah, Deceiver, I'm with you, dude. Says, I'm not the biggest fan of Tasha's Put It Anywhere. I am not either. But you can always just decide what the lineages get if you don't like that, of course. Oh, there's an 𝗏𝗏 domain? Really? Oh, but it just gets a little tiny blurb. It doesn't get a full treatment. One of the minor domains? Oh, okay. The cats are having fun. I have another cat behind me. They're going after the laser pointer. So I have 3 cats that are interested in catnip and 2 cats that are going after the laser pointer. And Squeaky's gonna have the zoomies. Any one of these domains could easily just be Kyber planes. Oh! Uh-huh. Yeah, totally. For how much you love 𝗏𝗏, I don't think I've ever seen you play a session in that world. I haven't. I have never run a game in 𝗏𝗏. I just love it. So it'll happen eventually. I just have never done it. Kyber is the underworld. It's like under the ground. It's where it's where the demons and stuff come from. That's kind of one way to look at it. And it's the realm of death too, I guess you could say. Yeah, exactly. It's the Underdark mixed with the Abyss. Yeah. Kind of like that. Squirty! Squirty! Squirty. Alright, let's keep going here. Whee! Alright, going back to here. Was there another one you guys wanted to look at? We can look at one more Domain of Dread, and then we're gonna move on to the rest of the book. Yeah, there's a crap ton of Domains of Dread that they talk about. And then the lesser ones, one of these is the Gehenna. Gehenna? That's a Domain of Dread? Really? 169. We're going to page 169. I thought that was a plane of existence. I didn't know that was a Domain of Dread. Okay. I thought Gehenna was a plane. Oh, okay. Ed's got it. That's like the difference between an E and apostrophe. Thanks, wizards. It's like, yeah, that's the difference. It's an E or an apostrophe. Okay, wonderful. So the minor domains get like a little tiny blurb, a Dark Lord and then hallmarks. And it gives you some basic information. So that's what you're going to get for the minor domains. There's a lot of these. But you just get a little tiny treatment. Not a whole lot. It's enough to spark your imagination, but you got to do most of the design would be on you. Look at the very first one, Luke. Okay. Wait. I think I... Oh, the morning rail. Oh, that's the 𝗏𝗏 one. Okay. The last passenger. Escape from disaster with lightning rail. The disaster known as the morning, this is an 𝗏𝗏 thing, numbers among the greatest tragedies to befall the world of 𝗏𝗏, a mystery calamity that killed nearly everyone in the land of 𝗏. In the nation's capital of 𝗏𝗏, some citizens foresaw the coming devastation and sought to escape upon lightning rails, elemental empowered engines capable of pulling trains of passenger carriages. As scared innocents packed 𝗏𝗏's last lightning train, known as 𝗏 1313, the evacuation was delayed at the demand of a late arriving VIP. Hundreds were forced from passenger carriages to admit and maintain the secrecy of this last passenger and their retinue. Oh, jeez. When the lightning rail did finally depart, it was too late. The disaster of the morning overtook the train and its hundreds of escapees. But even as it did, the mists claimed 𝗏 1313 and all aboard it. Now, the last lightning rail from 𝗏𝗏 hurls through the mist as a traveling domain. Those on board fear the disaster pursuing them, the mysterious passenger seated in the train's foremost carriage, and the necrotic energy now infusing the engine's elemental spirit. Yet none of the passengers realize their endless escape is pointless, as 𝗏 1313 carries only the dead. That's cool. All right. Was there another one you guys want to look at? I can just randomly pick one that seems interesting. 𝗏𝗏𝗰𝗵𝗁, 𝗏𝗂𝐻, 𝗏𝗏𝗏, Mordant, 𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Darkon. You want to look at Darkon? Okay. That's 88. Darkon, domain on the brink of destruction. There is no Dark Lord. Okay. There is no Dark Lord. The domain of Darkon has failed. Across the land, ageless monuments and magical wonders crumble before the shroud. The mists turn hungry. Once the prison of the Lich Aslan Rex. Oh, that's the person that was mentioned, I think, in some of the asides up front, I think. Darkon stretched between two oceans, its lands filled with Gothic cities and the monuments of forgotten wizard tyrants. Largely ignoring his role as ruler, Aslan dwelled in seclusion while manufacturing magical atrocities and manipulating prophecies to free himself from the Dark Power's grip. He finally succeeded, orchestrating a magical event that shook the entire domain, the Hour of Ascension. The Dark Lord vanished, and Darkon changed. Since Aslan's disappearance, a strange golden star called the King's Tear hangs in the heavens, and each night the mists surrounding the domain roil with hidden activity and creep inward. These mists, now known throughout the domain as the Shroud, erode Darkon's borders. Those fleeing the Shroud report strange shapes and figures within. What happens to the lands claimed by the Shroud is a mystery, and none who enter it return. Despite facing gradual annihilation, Darkon's living population largely ignores the threat, dismissing reports of vanishing regions as rumors and fear-mongering. As the domain splits into crumbling islands, ambitious beings vie for Aslan's power, each claiming to be the Lost King's obvious successor. These would-be tyrants blame one another for the domain's dissolution. I don't know. And each believes they alone can save Darkon by becoming its sole ruler. That's pretty cool. I like that. And here's a map. Mists are all over the place. Oh, that's cool. And it'll give you an overview of the different areas and stuff. I like the concept. Inheritors of Darkon. Okay, so now some of our main villains, or the main NPCs, these are probably the people that are vying for the power that was left over. So you got this dude here, and this is cool artwork. Madame Televersary Heiress. And then we have Adventures in Darkon. Some information about that. The Doom Domain. Okay. Allies. Yeah, I like it. That sounds really cool. I really like these. These Domains of Dread are really cool. I think the way that they wrote these out is really good. There's tons of them that you can peruse through and find the right one. You could run an entire probably run an entire campaign in one of these if you wanted to. Or you could run a shorter campaign in them, or you might just have a little sidetrack where your adventuring group somehow stumbles into one of these and has to do a few things to try to get out, you know, and then eventually they find their way out. So it could be like a detour on an existing campaign, or it could be one of the adventures is literally they need to go into one of these Domains of Dread to do something and then get out. So there are lots of options here, ways that you could use them, and I kind of like that. They're like portable little adventure ideas, and you can just plop them in. You know, you use mechanics to do so, but you could probably much plug them into your existing campaign if you wanted to. Or you could do a whole campaign around them. So I like the way they did these. And most of the book is just full of information on these different Domains of Dread. And not all of them, but many of them have maps too, which I think is pretty important. That's a cool map too. It looks like the majority of them have maps. Yeah. The Carnival didn't, because I understand why. It's a very small one. And these maps are cool looking. These maps are very artistic. Very, very well done maps. I'm very impressed with the artwork overall. Again, and the other thing they did with these maps is the maps all feel different. I'm assuming they were themed along with the Domain of Dread itself, but the maps all have a different feel to them, and they just are really cool. So it looks like almost all of them have their own maps. Yeah, they definitely look like they all have their own maps, except for maybe a couple. And that's probably, ooh, whew, look at this. Look at this artwork. Oh man, it's so cool. You have like a purple worm and some dude here flying on a little stone or something. It's very cool. It's very cool. See, map. It's very, very, very artistic, beautiful maps. It's pretty cool. Little desert one. Gosh, here's some more artwork. It's so good. Dang. See, these maps are amazing. These are such good maps. Variety. This is a city, it looks like. So, yeah. I now think I need to own this book. I'm tempted to get the book now. 𝗁 escaped because Wizards of the Coast lost the license to Dragonlance, and Margaret Weis published her own Dragonlance game. It's never really explained well. Wait, wasn't 𝗁 like the original not, what is it, Dark Knight, Black Knight, Death Knight, right? He was like the original Death Knight or something. Was he a Domain of Dread? Lord 𝗁, Death Knight. Was he in the Domain of Dread? Was he a Dark Lord? Lord of Domain of Sickness. He was. Oh, interesting. And it's not here now because they lost the rights to it, right? That's what you're saying? Okay, cool. Lord Soth. You could probably find that in some of the old material, right? Like the old source material. I'm assuming you could. They brought him in with a great novel called 𝗏𝗏 of the Black Rose. Dang. I have never read the Dragonlance stuff. All right, where are we? We're going to go to all right, now we're talking about different travelers in the mists. The Keepers of the Feather, were ravens, the Vistani. Give some information about the Vistani to use them in your game. They travel between all the mists and stuff. It looks like we have specific NPCs that are important, other groups and stuff. Ezramus Van Richten. So yeah, we have some major NPCs, it sounds like, who wander through the mists and stuff. So I don't really have time to look at them too much. We're getting low on time. Like, again, now this looks really cool. This full page art looks amazing. Like a ghost rising up out of the middle of the table. It's really cool. Horror adventures. Here is a bunch of information, it looks like, about creating your own horror adventures. Establishing boundaries. Reinforcing expectations. Session 0. Accessibility. All right. Okay, let's skip all that. Reliability and trust. Logistics. End on cliffhangers. I mean, that's if you can do that. Ending on a cliffhanger is a useful technique. Describing horror gameplay, encourage space. What is this? A typical D&D session is longer than a typical horror movie. Thanks. It can be hard to sustain the atmosphere for hours on end. Plan to take breaks during your game session and encourage players to step away from the table if they need to. If you feel like the game has gotten intense or taken a turn... Okay. Subvert cliches. Avoid drawing inspiration from stock characters in fiction or film. You can ignore that. Treat characters as real people with real motivations. Put yourself in their shoes. What would you do? Okay, that's called role playing. Thank you. Show how multiple people from the same culture are different. Okay. Okay. Don't use cliche accents. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna buy Dwarven Ale, you're gonna have to speak like a dwarf. And this is how all dwarves speak, don't you know? I'm just gonna skip past some of that stuff at the beginning here that we don't really need. We have a spirit board. Oh, that was at the end. Taroka deck. Horror toolkit. Okay, now we're getting into some stuff. Curses. Okay, here we go. Now we have some game mechanics for running a horror adventure. So it sounds like they have some mechanics for curses, components of a curse. I don't have time to look at all this, but some different game mechanics for making curses. Okay, cool. Fear and stress. Seeds of fear. So there's some sort of mechanic about seeds of fear. Every NPC has the same voice. Yes, they have the voice of the Dungeon Master. If I'm using an accent, it will be cliched. I'm not a voice actor or on Critical Role. Yep, there you go. Same here. Fear. Okay, so there's this, I don't know what this is. Is this sort of like a insanity mechanic or something? I don't know. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this because honestly, I want to look at the monsters. Haunted traps. Okay, cool. We have some mechanic about haunted traps. And it looks like there's some sample haunted traps. Survivors. Oh, there can be survivors. Ooh, people have survived. All right, cool. What are survivors? Oh, for short, low-power adventures, immersive retellings of tragic events, out-of-body experiences, or other unique tales, consider providing players with temporary stand-in characters called survivors. Oh, okay. So this is a way you can give them characters that they don't really want to play so that you can run through a scenario that you as the dungeon master think is cool. I don't know. My players probably want to play their really cool PCs. Just saying. Okay, the House of Lament. This is a sample adventure. What level is it designed for? It's always hard to... Okay, here we go. It's an adventure for a party of 4 to 6 first level characters who will advance to at least 3rd level by the adventure's conclusion. Okay, there you go. So here's a basic starter adventure for you for horror, which is useful because a lot of modules like Curse of Strahd, well, no, Curse of Strahd does have Death House. It does have Death House. So anyway, you can give a nice starter adventure. I'm seeing read aloud text, which is good. I'm seeing very plain maps. And yep, it's an adventure, folks. It's an adventure. And now we get to the part, the monsters of Ravenloft. We're gonna look at some of the monsters now. It's better than Death House? Okay, I haven't read it. I've played Death House, but I haven't read this one. Just swap it out with Death House. Oh yeah, you totally could do that. Absolutely. Especially if you read it and it's better than Death House. Yeah. Yeah, we're all, including me, interested in the monsters. Okay. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Describing monsters. Give yourself permission to dwell on a monster's description. Who wrote this? Gosh. Monstrous origins, notorious monsters, describing monsters, monstrous tactics. Yeah. Creating unique might. Okay, let's. I'm not sure what all this stuff is, but we're gonna go to the monsters. There we go. Okay, so it looks like we have an overview of all the monsters included here. 𝗏𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁
𝗥𝗃𝗰𝗵𝗁𝗁, Swarm of Maggots, Were-Raven, Brainajar, Carrion Stalker, Swarm of... Wow. So there's a list here of these things. And
it looks like they're all new monsters. All new monsters. Goliath Cleric says, this section was written by someone who has never run a game of D&D in their life. Oh, what? The whole beginning section or something of this? Yeah. I don't know. My wife wants a pet 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗁, including stuff that seems obvious after playing a bit. Yeah, yeah. All right. A body taker plant? Oh, good gravy. Oh, it's got... How big is this thing? It's huge. Oh, man, it stuffs you inside. Body taker plants either capture unsuspecting victims with their vines or accept captives brought to them by their podling servants.
In either case, they drag creatures into their central pod, where potent chemicals render the captive comatose. Over the course of hours, the creature is dissolved and its body repurposed into a podling duplicate. Wow. That is cool. CR7 creature, and then the podlings are going to like bring them more people to eat. That is very cool. I like that. That is definitely a horror. Make sure you get consent before you use this in your games. This is terrifying. This looks interesting. Boneless. Boneless. Not all animate corpses shamble from their graves. Boneless are undead remains devoid of skeletons. Most rise from the bodies of those who've suffered brutal ends, such as deliberate skinning or crushing. Wow. Deathless malice infuses what remains, their husks flopping and slithering in pursuit of vengeance or at the whims of sinister masters. Slipping through cracks and under doors. That is really cool. Oops, sorry, you can't see what I'm reading. Slipping through cracks and under doors, these stealthy undead seek to adorn living frames once more, wrapping themselves around their victims and wringing them to death in their full body grip. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. It's a CR1. That's really cool. The idea of that is awesome. That's gonna happen to some of my players in Curse of Strahd. I'm gonna have to make it higher than a CR1. I gotta make it like a CR5 or 8 or something. That's cool. I like that. This is the kind of content we need in a Curse of Strahd book or a Ravenloft book, right? Horrifying things to give players nightmares. Oh, wait. To give their characters nightmares. Brain in a jar. CR3. Through rituals combining alchemy, necromancy, and grim surgical precision, the brain of a mortal being is encased in a glass jar filled with preserving fluids and the liquefied goop of their body's flesh. The transformation renders the brain ageless and imbues it with psionic power so that it can spend eternity plotting and executing its desires. That's so cool. They did it again, you guys. There's no alignment in the frickin' stat blocks. You have a body taker plant that's maybe neutral, but more than likely evil. Yeah, it's an intelligent creature. You have a boneless undead that just wants to murder people. A brain in a jar. Now, the brain in the jar, you can almost see that might not be evil, you know, and I just want to murder you. I wish they would just put the alignments in here. Why they don't do that? I don't know what their problem is. Carrion Stalker. So clearly it looks like a, let's see. A carrion stalker begins life as a pale larva that infests a corpse. Over the course of weeks, this grub burrows, feeds, and grows, ultimately developing into a chitinous mass of pinchers and tentacles. When an adult carrion stalker detects movement, it bursts from its corpse cradle to attack, intent on implanting its young into the living and starting its species life cycle anew. Oh, geez. That's cool. So they come upon corpses and it just bursts out. Oh, it's a tiny creature. Oh, this is a tiny creature. Oh, man. Nixit's like, PC, Luke, PC. I know. So what does it try to do to you? It attaches to the target and pulls itself into your space. What does it do then? The carrion stalker releases a burst of larvae in a 10-foot radius centered on itself. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 13 Constitution saving throw or be poisoned. If a creature is reduced to 0 hit points by the infestation, it dies. The larvae remain in the corpse, and one survives to become a fully grown carrion sucker in 1d4 weeks. Oh, wow. But it's never gonna happen. You guys, this is why this is worthless. Because they're just gonna raise them from the dead. So this is never going to happen to one of your players' characters, ever. Because it's so trivial to raise somebody from the dead in 5th edition. So it's cool conceptually, but it'll never work. Carrionet. This is so cool. Look at this. Look at this. Carrionets arise from innocent intentions. Heartfelt wishes breathe life into a beloved toy, and for a time, a creator might feel blessed by their new companion. But carrionets aren't content to live as toys and seek to escape the confines of their diminutive bodies. Oh my word. Every carrionet possesses a silver needle that pins its soul to its body. By posing as simple toys or hiding their desires, a carrionet gets close to an unsuspecting victim. It then uses its needle to swap souls with the victim, stealing the victim's body while trapping the victim's soul in its own doll-like frame. This is like an entire adventure where like a little boy or something or a little girl got soul swapped, and then the heroes have to like rescue them somehow. Wow. Carrionets might appear as any type of toy or piece of art. This is so cool. Oh yeah. I love that. I love that so much. Death's Head. Cool artwork. Cool. Cool. A Death's Head is a disembodied flying head. The type of creature one of these grotesque undead originated from determines how it terrorizes its prey. A Death's Head that arises from a person or animal swoops down to rip apart victims with its gnashing teeth. One with the head of a monster like a 𝗏𝗡 or Medusa, though, retains a measure of the power it held in life and can befuddle the minds or petrify the bodies of its victims. So it's got, depending on the type of head, it can do different things. Okay, that's cool. Dullahan are undead, headless undead warriors, the remains of villains who let vengeance consume them. Okay, that's cool. Gallows Speaker. Little ghost type person. Oh gosh, those creepy dolls, those are so awesome. Yes. A Gallows Speaker. Gallows Speakers arise from places of mass death or sites where creatures regularly meet their doom. Over time, pain-racked phantoms and lingering souls combine into an entity that knows death in myriad forms. Such amalgamated spirits are tormented by their collective pain, endlessly moaning disjointed final thoughts as they lash out at the living. Oh, but they're not evil, are they? No, they're not. They're not evil. Why would they be evil? Their purpose is to lash out at the living and kill them and torment them. They're not evil. They could be anything you want them to be. Corporal movement. They do some damage. Suffering echoes. Take some psychic damage. Take some psychic damage. Okay. 𝗏𝗏𝗰𝗵𝘁𝗃. Ooh, this looks interesting. 𝗏𝗏𝗃s are the vicious products of mistakes made by novice spellcasters seeking to create life. The results are cat-sized, magically unstable creatures with a taste for the trappings of magic, particularly spellbooks, spell components, familiars, and the like. I believe my 𝗥𝗃𝗲 player Eyes is going to be introduced to one of these. 𝗏𝗏𝗃s delight in tormenting magic users, holding vicious grudges against those who gave them life as they infest the walls of spellcasters' homes or the surrounding lands. My player is going to be tormented by one of these. Not his character. Gonna torment Joe. Mark my words. Despite their feral appearances, 𝗤𝗏𝗀𝗃s are cunning creatures. They might imitate the sounds of whimpering children or wounded animals to coax victims into tight quarters. While they favor attacking spellcasters, 𝗤𝗏𝗃s are opportunistic hunters and lash out at anything they can think they can overwhelm just to get a bite of. Cool. I like it. They're not super challenging. Oh, wow. This is interesting. Immediately after a creature within 30 feet of the 𝗤𝗏𝗃 casts a spell, the 𝗤𝗏𝗃 can radiate magical energy. Each creature within it takes a little bit of damage. It regains hit points. Okay. And then you can have a swarm of 𝗤𝗏𝗃s too. Conceptually, these are very cool. I almost feel like I would want to do something special with them, though, to make them a little more interesting and to really torment spellcasters. I like the concept. I think we need some work to make this a little bit more fun. But very, very cool concept and totally cute. I mean, who wouldn't want one of these guys as a little pet, right? Oh, good gravy. I have no idea how to pronounce that word. 𝗤𝗂𝗃𝗃. When a soul becomes trapped within its corpse, its bitterness can reanimate its body, creating a 𝗤𝗂𝗃𝗃. These vengeful dead stalk their descendants and the communities they knew in life, sowing terror and taking retribution for the slights or neglected burial rites that led to their cursed resurrections. Okay, so these are evil. These are evil creatures. Absolutely evil creatures. But instead of just being able to look up here and know that, I have to read it all. Not helpful. Okay, sounds cool. Do they do anything cool? Here's its own reflection, susceptible to holy symbols. It doesn't require air. Dude, it's undead. Don't most undead things not require air? Isn't that a thing? 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃? Oh, is that it? 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃? Thank you. I'm just gonna say 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 from now on. Slam attacks, consume energy. Necrotic damage. Oh, it can regain hit points. Oh, cool. Flying speed. Ooh, if it kills somebody, it raises as a white. Oh, it can polymorph into a beast, a humanoid or an undead that is small, medium or smaller back in its true form. I've always disliked the mechanic that monsters have where they can shape change as an action. Like, that is such a hit to action economy. You would never want to do that in combat because you're just gonna get destroyed. I usually just have things shape change as a bonus action or something. It's so horribly ineffective to do that as an action. It's so bad. I would never shape change as an action. I'm gonna get pounded on. I'm gonna lose my entire turn. Nah, never gonna happen. I just use bonus actions for that. I don't care. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃. Some sort of werewolf thing. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 possesses a strand of lycanthropy more virulent than that carried by common werewolves. Wow. Aside from being deadlier than their werewolf cousins, CR13, yes, yes. Hello, can you say 𝗥𝗃𝗄𝗃 has one of these at the head of the werewolf den? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I hope my players aren't here. I hope my 𝗥𝗃𝗄𝗃 players aren't here anymore. A couple of them were here earlier. Hope they're gone now. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 aggressively spread the plague of lycanthropy. Only through the death of a 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 might those afflicted by it escape their curse. Oh, nice. That is so cool. Okay, so a CR13. Oh, very nice. Legendary resistance, blood frenzy regeneration, which is a moot point. If it takes damage from a silver weapon. Oh, nice. You see, most players ignore silver weapons and because they have magical weapons. So it's regeneration negation is less common. Most of the time, if it's fire damage or radiant damage, it denies regeneration for a lot of these creatures. And everybody does fire damage, and like everybody seems to have radiant damage too. Multi-attack, bite, claws, longsword, bonus action. This is how they should all be. Bonus action, change shape. Every monster's change shape should be a bonus action. And it has legendary actions. Okay, cool. I like it. Let's do it. That is literally the suggestion for werewolves that I gave you like a month or so ago. Oh, like what was your suggestion? What was your suggestion a month ago, Goliath Cleric? I just said a lot of words. I'm not sure which words you're referring to. One of the Dark Lords is a loot guru. Oh, to make their regeneration exactly that. Oh, that has to be done by silver weapons, of which the group only has one silver weapon. Oh, regenerate unless hit with silver. Oh, I'm totally doing that. I have to remember that though. I'll have to remember that, because right now, vampires regeneration is so easily overcome by my group. It's just like, oh, you don't regenerate. It's so easy. But yeah, making it silver weapons is the way to go. Now, I forgot that you told me that before, and so I'm hoping that I won't forget again. I will probably fail. I'm not smart enough. Just have a bad memory. This is cool. I like this. We don't have a lot of time left, so we're gonna go through kind of quickly here now. 𝗦𝘁. A 𝗦𝘁 is a being of living blood, formed from the ichor of evil gods, or the sludge in the crypts of failed liches. Despite the loss of a solid physical form, these foul creatures retain their terrible intellects and aspire to megalomaniacal goals. The first of which involves regaining a body. Oh, that's cool. I like that. We can say that that's an evil creature. 𝗦𝘁. Oh, that looks cool. It's cool artwork. Vicious undead hunters, 𝗦𝘁 possess the endless thirst of vampires, but none of their grace. For them, existence is nothing more than an everlasting string of cold, desperate nights, punctuated by crimson slashes of momentary warmth and lucidity. These joys are fleeting, as their blood addiction can never be quelled. Okay, so something similar to a vampire. The artwork was really cool. Priests of 𝗦𝘂𝗶𝗱𝗲. Necromancers of deep evil, the priests of 𝗦𝘂𝗶𝗱𝗲 steal the souls of others to fuel the priest's malevolent magic. Using this soul power, each priest can defy death and become an undead creature, potentially cheating the grave over and over. Okay, cool. I like that. And we have a stat block here. Boons of undeath. Stuff that happens when they drop to 0 hit points, it looks like. Cool. Ooh, the Fae are only hurt by cold iron. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Oh my gosh, I know. Chill touch in Curse Strahd is ridiculous. It's like, oh, you can't regenerate now. Okay, I'll just give him more hit points then. Problem solved! This is really cool. Look at this guy. Very cool. Relentless Killer. Relentless killers are hateful, revenge-obsessed creatures that enter into pacts with fiends or other nefarious entities. Their bargains transform them into vicious butchers that exist only to indulge their endless bloodlust. While some who become relentless killers begin life as innocents, any semblance of who they are is washed away in a tide of gore and rage. This is cool. And we have several of them. We have a Relentless Slasher, CR 8, Relentless Juggernaut, CR 12, and creating a Relentless Killer. So it's got some role-playing things here that you can put on your Relentless Killer. Star Spawn Emissary. Okay, so there are star spawn in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, and these ones here are different ones. They aren't the same ones. So it can add to the number of those things you have at your disposal as a dungeon master. Do you understand the full hungry hostility of the multiverse? Starspawn emissaries are the fingers of alien realms, digits that tip the scales of reality toward terror. Heralded by ominous astrological events, these ravenous invaders make worlds ready for unimaginable masters or distant greater manifestations of themselves. Employing their malleable forms, emissaries work to undermine perceptions of order, trust, and reality on global scales, readying worlds for sanity-shattering revelations and cascading apocalypses. Only when truly threatened, or when their foes have lost all hope, do emissaries reveal their actual impossible forms. Good gravy. This artwork is awesome. It's got like teeth and eyes, got a pig snout, tentacles, teeth, a baboon face or something. Yeah, this is cool artwork. And then we got stat blocks. CR 19, CR 21. Nice, nice. And then we have a 𝗥𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, Sturges, something transmuted from a sturge. And then we have some swarms. Okay, so swarms of maggots, swarms of scarabs, very, very cool. However, okay. There's another swarm over here I wanted to look at. Almost in Inquisitors, evil lurks everywhere. With our minds, we will unearth it. We will plumb its depths and we will annihilate it. With those words, the physically gifted priest Ulmid founded the Ulmist Inquisition, an order of psionic inquisitors that seeks to discover the wickedness hiding in people's souls. Oh, nice. Now you have bad guys who think they're doing the world good, and they're like rooting out evil, quote unquote evil, in people's souls. Okay, cool. I like that. Okay, we have a CR8, CR8, CR8. Okay, this is cool. I like that. Unspeakable horrors. Untold half-formed evils lurk amid the mists, the yet-to-be-realized imaginings of the dark powers and the remnants of ruined domains. While such nightmares typically manifest as nothing more than impressions, whispers, or vaporous visions amid the fog, mysterious eddies in the mist sometimes gather such evils, forcing them into unique, misshapen bodies, untethered from the laws of reason or reality. Such unspeakable horrors might continue to haunt the misty netherworld between the domains of dread, or they might slink forth into other realms to slack unnameable hungers. And it sounds like there's an unspeakable horror here, and then there are some rules for customizing it as well. And it's got some other stuff so you can customize your own unspeakable horror. That's pretty cool. A vampiric mind flare. I like that. I like that. Yes, the Inquisitors make for good non-evil antagonists for an adventure. Yeah. A were-raven. Those are typically good guys. We have stat blocks for it now. Cool. Now this, you guys, look at this. This is so freaking cool. This is a zombie clot. A zombie clot. A big, huge mass of zombies that just ambles after you. How cool is that? Holy crap. That's a huge undead. They got it as a CR6. That is just so cool. Wow. It's amazing. And you have a swarm of zombie limbs too. Gosh, these are so awesome. Okay, and there we go. That's the monsters. Those are the monsters. And at the very end, we have a spirit board. Employed by the spiritualists known as the Keepers of the Feather. Those are good guys. Spirit boards are the focal points of seances. How do you say that word? I've heard it before. and attempts to contact worlds beyond. Spiritboard users rely on the collective will of those who assemble around the board and join hands upon its planchette to commune with mysterious forces. So it's like a Ouija board, basically. This spirit board's matching planchette and details on how to employ it appear in chapter 4. Photograph both the spirit board and planchette, whatever. Quit using these words. Then apply them to wood or cardboard to create a mysterious prop to use in your horror adventures. Oh, it's got like yes, no, letters and stuff. Okay. Goliath Cleric, I am on the exact same page with you. Says this is one thing I will not use in my games. I have a few players who are extremely uncomfortable with Ouija boards being used. I will never use something like that ever. So I'm on board with that. I'm never going to use something like that. That is no longer a game at that point. You're doing something a little different in my opinion. So anyway, final thoughts on this. Yeah, I love this. This is amazing. There are things I can nitpick on it, but overall, this is very, very solid. This is super solid. This has crap tons of stuff in it that a dungeon master can use in their game. I absolutely love this. The Domains of Dread, rules for creating your own. The monsters are all amazing. Amazing monsters. There's some horse crap scattered through there that you can just ignore, you know. It's kind of like what they said. It's kind of like what they said in what is it? Saving Private Ryan, you know, where they were talking about the captain and where he's from, and the one guy was like, I know exactly where the captain is from because I pay attention to details and stuff like that. And then with the other guy with like the southern accent or whatever, he's like, make sure you don't step in the bull crap around here. You know what I mean? But this is solid. I love this. This is very cool, you guys. Deceiver says that's how do you feel about Dreadlords not having their own stats? And is this just use this from the monster manual? That's kind of my only nitpick. Yeah, that's a nitpick. That is the big. If there were a place they could improve this product, that would be it. Giving you custom stat blocks for the Dreadlords themselves. That would be a big, huge improvement as opposed to just giving you the suggested monster manuals. Honestly though, like the overall, the product is super solid. So could I complain about not having my own custom stat blocks for the Dreadlords? Absolutely. They could definitely improve the product by putting those in there, you know, but that's not going to cause me to rant too much. You know, overall, I think it's very good. They did a very, very good job on this one. So, you know, it makes up for Tasha's. Sorry. I should stop talking bad about Tasha's. It's really hard though.